Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Rahul.
Yeah, could you please open the activity guide?
Okay. Now share the my screen once.
Okay, share your screen, go through that activity
Visibility.
guide,
Okay.
and over to you, Pothuraju.
Thank you, Rahul. Now coming to the presentation. In this presentation, I have explained the activity guide for FCCS per topic list. First one is running and set up the result. In this, you have to how to create the FCCS application, and the second one is adding the new features using enable features. How to add the new features are already existing application. And third one is the navigating the FCCS. In this, you have how to navigate the dimensions and forms and valid text in FCC business application. And fourth one is creating custom navigation flow. In this, I will show you how to create the navigation flow with and assigning the roles for a service administrator and power user or user. And fifth one is adding the current and the entity dimension. In this, I will show you how to add the members in accounting and entity dimension. And sixth one is adding members to movement dimension. In this, I have show you how to create the members in movement dimension. And seventh one is adding the currency. In this, I have to add the members in a currency dimension. And eighth one is modify the metadata.csv file. In this, how to modify the metadata file for dimension members. And ninth one is importing meta by using the .csv file. And coming to the activity guide. In this, as per our practice. And first one is running and setup. And move to the activity guide. First one is in this lesson. In this practice, you will perform the following tasks for lesson 2 for a running and setup wizard and adding the new features using the enable features. Coming to the part 1 for running and setup the wizard. In this running and setup wizard, we can create the exiting the application for snapshot. You can migrate to the migration option is available, and you can migrate application. Otherwise, you don't have a snapshot of a test environment. You can create the application in this financial and console close. And now coming to the practice and running and setup wizard. In this practice, you will be built a FCC application. In this, I will show you how to create the FCC application. And in this assumption, I have a first you have a EPM cloud URL and login credentials for first you have accessing the EPM cloud. In this, I have a URL and the next one is a credentials. In this task, you have first log into the EPM cloud for a accessing the URL and username, credentials and password. And then second, select the second step. In this, select the financial console and close, and then select the financial and application business. And then there are two options. One is create a new application, and the second one is a migration. You have a snapshot of your test element. You can import to the migration. You can run the product element also. So now I'll show you how to create the Abscissa business application. And again, and I go to the application. In this is my URL of accessing the EPM cloud, and copy and paste. And in this, I have enter the username and password for username is EPM underscore default underscore cloud admin. This is my password for EPM demos, and we can go. You can go to the application. This there are two options. One is create new application, and the second one is migrate. We have a snapshot. You can import to the migrate, and you can working on the production environment. So this time I don't have a snapshot of a migration, and now I create the new application for a FCC business course. Click on start, and again go to the activity guide. In this activity guide, fourth step is next to provide the FCC's name, and description is a financial consolidation and close business process, and then click. And the second tab is a detail space. In this space, we have provide the name of number of the months and the starting and end of the year and the first month of the fiscal year, and main currency. Main currency is nothing but a application currency, and enable the multi currency. Then click next. And now I show you how to create the application name and the description, and how to enable the 12 months and starting period and financial, and how to enable the multi-currency. And again go to the application and show you how to enable the features. In this name we have provide the 8 characters only. With more than 8 characters the application name does not takes. In this name you have a enter the only numeric enter the alphabetic number. It does not contain except the special characters for emphasis underscore like this. And as per our activity guide, name is I give the name is FCCS, and the description is financial consolidation and growth business. I have entered the description for financial consolidation and close business process, and click on next. In this next page you can provide the number of months and the starting period and ending the year, and depending on your financial year you can select the calendar months for starting to January to December. And if you enable the HYT member, so one of the member is added in U dimension, you can view the data in HYT means half year to date member. In the other detail, you have enabled the multi-currency. This is a USD is a by default comes with FCC business process. Yes, USD currency. If you want, we can change the currency also. And if you enable the multi-currency, currency dimension is created in FCC business process, one of the system dimension for a currency. Now, as per our activity guide, I can select the details in time period for 12 months, and the starting period, starting and ending, starting year is 2020 and ending year 2030, and the financial month for fiscal year. For example, I have a Indian person. My financial year is starting from April to March. Depending on your location and your regions, you can select the financial year per. Now, as per our activity guide, I have select the Jan to December, January. In the activity guide, it does not enable the HOD member, so I can disable the HOD members. In this, I can enable the multi-currency. So, I'll click on next, and again go to the activity guide. In this activity, in the I can enable the features also in the on the features page, and select the following options for consolidation is enabled, and the balance sheet is a traditional balance sheet approach, and the general adjustment is S with workflow, multi-gap S with manual adjustment, intercompany data is S with tracking, and intercompany entity is aggregation for addition. CTA account means cumulative transaction adjustment account for balance sheet, and liquid ratio is ratio calculation for a liquid ratio, asset ratio, and probability ratio, leverage ratio, and ownership management no, disable the ownership menu, and the custom dimensions for product, and TCA. TCI means translated currency input. It is enable, parent input enable, contribution input enable, subordinate data enable. Now I'll show you how to enable the features of the FCC business pro. Again, I go to the application. In this features page, as per our activity guide, I can enable the consolidation. I can select the balance sheet for traditional balance. This is a hierarchy is created by under the account dimension for total asset is equal to total liability plus equality. Depending on your business process, you can select these options. As per our activity guide, I can select the traditional balance sheet, and in the general adjustment, I can select the S with workflow. So you can perform the general adjustments for approved and post and general and rejected. If you want to select the S without for, you can post and submit and reject the general ones. If you know, so general adjustments you do not selecting the working on the FCS business process. As per our activity guide, I can enable the S with workflow. In the multi-cap, I have select the manual adjustment. In the intercompany data, S with tracking. So intercompany data is tracked in a data sources dimension if we enable. In the intercompany aggregation is addition. And move to down. In this hence enable the equity ratios for a liquid ratio, asset ratio, property ratio, leverage ratio. In this owner management, as per our activity, I can disable the ownership name. I can as soon as. In the local gap, okay. In the customer dimension, I have selecting for a product. In this TCP, I can enable parent entity enable. In the contribution it enable, and under the supplementary data feature is enabled. And click next. In this, you can go to the activity guide. After that, creating the feature this way. Move to next way, next slide. In this review page, you have satisfied all the features depending on your FCC requirement, and click on create. It takes hardly 10 to 15 minutes, and again come to the application for home page like this way. Now I'll show you how to review and create the application. I again go to the application. In click on create. This feature is I am satisfied as per our business requirement for FCCS, and click on create. Hardly it takes at least 10 to 15 minutes. Again go to the activity guide. In this activity guide, I can overview the what are the practice can do. In this activity guide, you have practice number 2-2. It is adding the new features using enable features. Earlier, I have enabling the features for a traditional balance sheet and multi-gap and intercompany data general adjustments. In that time, I have disabled the ownership data. In this adding new features, I can enable the ownership data with equity picket and partner elimination. And the next one is next practice is practice on 11-3 T lesson 3 navigating the axis consolidation and close. In this practice we have navigating the login. First you have log into the application and open the FCS application, and creating the navigating the predefined dimensions and forms and rules and valid instructions. And in this application, how to enable the periods for open and closing in FCC business. And the second one, another one is creating a custom navigation flow for testing. In this, how to create the navigation flow for testing. It is in this navigation flow, financial and console close. You have access for a EPM cloud URL and password and login. And then click on the application cluster. In this application cluster, you have an option called a overview. In the overview, you can perform the first one is a overview for a what are the application name and description you provide. In this overview card you can see. And the second tab is a cube. If you enable the currency dimension, so currency dimension is available in the overview card. And the second one is a console cube. If you enable the consolation for the time of creating the business process, enable the consolation feature. So consolation dimension is created. This is a heart of the FCC business process for running the consolation. In this overview card, you have performed the importing data and exporting data and copy data and clear data. The data can be checking for a metadata for a dimension for valid data or not, and refreshing the data. Refreshing is data is nothing but a if you change the metadata or if you change the members of the dimensions for a properties, that if you change the business rules for your on-demand rules, or if you create the on-demand rules depending on your requirement, so that's time you can run the refresh the database. So, and then click on the navigator. In this navigator, you can select the go to the user preference. In this user preference, you can perform the user requirements. For suppose for example, have a user admin can we create the user variable. So user comes with user preference. In this user, you can select the which entity you can run the, or you can analysis the data. We can run the business rules. User can be select in the user preference. In the navigator, select the service administrator or services for application. In this, you can see the email status and so, and click on the home. In the home icon, in this practice number 3, in this navigating the review and the predefined forms. Predefined forms means by default system can be created for depending on the features enabled. If you enable the traditional balance, so traditional balance hierarchy is created in under the account dimension for a FCC's total balance sheet, traditional balance. In this total asset and total liability and total equity, the separate hierarchy. As per our business requirement, you can select the pieces for a balance sheet. And in this FCCS, some of the preceded members comes with the prefix for FCC underscore. In this members, this by default system can be provided depending on the pieces enabled. In the home icon, you have option called the data. In this data card, you can see the data for and what are the forms are created and what are the data can be entered in this. You can analyze and you can run the business rules and you can moving from one form to another form in the data cards. In this by default under the data card by default system can be provide the balance sheet and income statement and by period. Some of the predefined forms is available in under the data card. And the next one, click on the home and the rules card. In the rules card, you can perform the rules for a consolidation and translation and clear remedy or force consolidation and force translation. So depending on your business requirement, you can launch the business rules in the under the business rules card. And coming to the valid section. In the under the valid section, you have some of the predefined valid section comes with like anchor and non-anchor dimension. In this also valid intersection tab, you can run the invalid data for reports for reports in the valid sections. If you want, you can create the valid section under the valid section tab. And again, go to next slide. In this practice number 4, practice part 4, in this you have learned the managing the periods, how to enable and how to close the period in your FCC application. And click on the home icon and select manage period and under the application cluster. In this application cluster, you have verify the scenario and year, which year or which period, which scenario for like for actual or forecast or budget. Depending on your business, you can select the scenario and select the which year if you want to run the, or you can enter the data, or we can run, you can post the genre. So depending on you select the year for a like select the year in this managing period and then click on the glow option. In this option there are two options is available. First one is the open or close. Once you have open the period, so it does not do closing state, unopened state. And in the practice number 3-2, once I am go to the application checking for it is running, it takes time. And again go to the activity guide. In this practice 3-2, creating the custom navigation flows. In this, how to create the custom navigation flows. For example, I have a service administrator. I have assigned some role to a particular user. So that user only display the only particular clusters and cards. That time I have created the custom navigation flow. In this navigation flow, first you can go to the home icon, home, and then go to the tools cluster. In this tools cluster, you have option called a card called a navigation flow. By default, so FCC's business you can comes with a default for a service admin flow. If you want, you can in this create the navigation flow and assign the and remove and update the navigation flows and users requirement. And this you can also assign the users for a power user or viewer or users. You can in this also you can assign the groups also. In this, as per our activity guide, in this first one is selecting creating the custom navigation flow. In this navigation flow, I can remove the task card and the dashboard card and the infolet card and click remove and click on yes. In the now assign the navigation flow user group for a magnifies under the top of the most. In this assign the service administrator group and click OK. And the second one is click on save. And the second is once you create the navigation flow, the status comes with inactive state. If you want, you can you can select the active state and again now you can log out and log into the application. So successfully navigation flow is added in FCC business process. And you will notice the taskbar and by default you can change the remove the taskbar and dashboard and infolets in earlier for selecting the navigation flow. That cards are that clusters are not displayed in navigation under our home page like this way. And repeat the steps 1 to 13. This time give the name of the navigation flow as custom name. In this again create the one more navigation flow name for a custom navigation 0.02. Remove in this time you can remove the task and navigation flow. In this assign the role for a power user. So log out and log in again the application. You can see the difference between the navigation for a power user and service administrator. You can move the at a time for a moving for a one navigation flow to another flows by selecting the select. By default the navigation flow is activate for a navigation one, and navigation flow is inactive state. You can activate them and again log out to log in. And that's all conclusion for the practice number 3-3. The navigation for a financial and consolidation. Coming to the practice number lesson 4, setting up financial consolidation and close dimension. In this, how to add the members in accounting and entry dimensions, and how to add the members in movement dimension, and how to add the currencies in FCCS business process in currency dimension. In the first one is adding the accounting and entity dimension. In this practice, you will learn the add the accounting and entity dimension members. First, you have a complete the practice number 2 for while because of first you have create the application FCCS application, and then you can do the this task only. In this task, first one is the first login to the application and provide the username and login password, and then go to the dimensions card. In this card, you can select the account dimension. In the account dimension, for selecting the expanding the balance sheet, expanding the total balance sheet or traditional approach, expand the total asset and select the FC's current asset account and click on the add child. In this parent memories for selecting the parent memory is investments, and again add the two children's per three children's per investment current, and second one is a collective investment funds, and third one is a corporate bonds. In this I have changed the data storage for a never share for a children's of these members. And again go to the entry dimension. Hierarchy like comes this way. Invest is a parent member, and invest current and collective investment rules funds and corporate funds are like this way hierarchy. Parent is invest. These are the childrens of the investments. And now again in this practice you can create the members for entry dimension. In this in this entry dimension you have go to the entry dimension, select the members, one of the member or under the entry dimension for a FCCS underscore total geography, and then click on the child, give the name for segment, and alias name is a segment, and base currency is USD. Because of if you enter the particular member entity for by default comes with USD is the main currency. So in this time I can select the USD for a base currency. Click on if you want you can create the input currency under the currency dimension. That currency is also assigned to the particular member, and click on save. Similarly, add the child under the segment for a en01 underscore alias is en01. If you alias means for example I have working with two different phases for China and INR. I don't have a Chinese language. That time I can create the alias name for INR. So that way I can do the consolidation or business process for FCC. That way you can assign the alias names. Base currency is USD currency. In this I have creating the two members under the EN01. First one is EN01 underscore 05, and the second one is EN01 underscore 06. In this alias name is the New York and the base currency is only for a main currency USD for the time of selecting the business process. Only one currency is available for in FCC application as per activity guide. Make sure this hierarchy comes with this way. segment is a parent member. Under the child, en01 is a child of the segment, and en0101 are the base members of the segment. This, for example, segment is a parent member, and en01 is the generation 1 member. These are the leaf members or base members. Again, in this practice, we can add the members under the movement dimension. Go to the dimension page, select the movement dimension for drop down, select the FCC underscore movement under subtotal. By default, in the movement dimension, you can create the under the two members only. One is the FCC underscore movement and subtotal. And in this, you can because of this data storage type is a dynamic calculation. Only you can create the members under the only. Click on select and drop down expand. In this, add the children for under the parent member for FCC underscore movement and subtotal. Give the name for a child member pair for name movement underscore balance sheet, and alias name is the changes in balance sheet. And then a hierarchy comes with the parent member is FCC underscore movement subtotal and movement and underscore balance sheet. This is a hierarchy for a movement dimension in creating the adding the members. And this is a conclusion for a practice number 4 for adding the members in dimensionator. In this practice number 4-3, in this adding the dimension. In this, how to add the members currencies in currency dimension, and selecting the currency dimension, and click on the one of the member for input currency. Click on the plus icon. In this, add the currency. You can edit the one of the window is open for some of the standard members, standard currencies that are available. In this, you can select the first one is the euro, and the second one is the USD, sorry, AUD, and third one is the GBP, and the fourth one is the INE. And select, click on save. That way, you can create the currencies in currency dimension. And coming to the practice number 5, in this practice, we can show in this I will show you how to importing and exporting the dimension members, how to change the members, and again how to importing the metadata for the dimensions. Coming to the practice for 5.1, in this modify the metadata file .csv. In this first I have exporting the metadata file for file for a accounting and entity. First, you can follow the steps. First, you have logged to the application, and then go to the home page under the application cluster. And the application cluster, click on the overview. In the overview tab, you can third one is the dimension tab. In this dimension tab, you see the what are the dimensions available in FCCS. In the top of the right, you can option called the export. In this, click on the export. In this, you can select the which dimension if you want to export it. Select the particular dimensions. Click on the export. In this time, you can select the location for a local. Local means if the file came saved in our personal system. And again, second one option is the inbox. Inbox selected. The file can be saved in server this way. And again, select the which dimension if you want. In this, and again in this, you can select the file type for a .csv file or .txt file or other file. In this, I have select the .csv file for a comma delimited, and select the click on the export. The export file is successfully exported in our local system. And conclusion, this is a conclusion for a practice number 5-1. And practice number 5-2, importing metadata.csv file. In this, first we have exporting the metadata files. First, we have complete the practice dash 5.1, because in this I have changed the changing metadata for a account dimension, and add the metadata member for under the total account is one of the member is created under the account dimension. In this, I have select the member is account total account, and parent is account, and alias is the default for a total account. The value, these are the properties of a that members. In this, I have select the data type is currency, data storage storage, store, and the hierarchy type is a dynamic, and account type is revenue, time balance is balance, and some of the features are available, so assigned in activity guide. As per our activity guide, I can assign that members and click next. In this I have select file name can be changed to the import file.csv file, and click on the create. In the go to in the first I have log into the application in the Wavri card. In the dimension tab, click on the import option is available. Click on the import. Click on the create. In this you have schedule importing data, or you can run the within time depending on your business process. You can select the now I have select the import, and the select the dimension for a I can change the method, add the metadata file member for another account dimension. So I have select the account. The file type is comes with .csv with comma separated. So in this I have select the file type is comma delimited, and select the validation for a member. The file is file format is successfully, it comes with the .csv file or elsewhere, and click on the local. Select the local. Local means file location is saved in a local machine. So I have select. So now I can select the file location name is local. Click on the import. So import file is successfully, and click on the go to the jobs. In the jobs you can see the file is import file is successfully or not. Once I have go to the application, this I the application is successfully, and click on OK. This is the home page of the application for a depending enabling the features for a depending on. This is a I can go to the active guide. In this active guide, I can explain the adding new features using enabled features. Now I'll show you how to adding the new features using enabled feature. In this task, I can do the adding the enabling the features for a ownership management, equity pickup, and partner elimination. Before I can disable the these options, now I can enable, and again go to the application. Again go to the navigator. In this application, under the application, option called a configuration. In this configuration, we have option called a enable features. In this enable features, we have a earlier I have enabled the features for a consolidation, multi-gap, and importing data. Now I have enabled the features for a ownership data. Now enable the ownership management and equity pickup and partner elimination. Click on enable. The features you have choose enable. Do you have issue content? Yes. As per our activity guide, I can select the features enabled progress. It takes a few minutes. After completion of enable feature successfully, once you log out into the application, and again log into the application, the features is enabled successfully added in the FCCS application. And go to the activity guide once refer. In this I have select the enable features and select the ownership management and equity pickup and partner elimination. I can enable these features and click on the enable. You will do following message like consolidate functions is successfully enabled after enabling the features. Once I have referred to application, the features enablement is progress on. Again, go to activity guide. After enabling the features, before you can use the features, sign out and signing the application. The process is take few minutes after the clicking the enable, and third last step is sign out and signing the application, see the enable features in enable section. Again, go to the application. It takes a few minutes. The main is of ownership, enabling the ownership management. In this, you can consolidation time. You can assign the owners for a par partnerships for a holding company or equity company like way. If you do not enable the ownership data, you cannot assign the ownership of the data like it in percentage like 100 or 70 or 80 like way. And go to the activity guide. This is the conclusion for adding the new features, enabling the features in existing application. And go to the next slide. In this practice dash in this navigating the financial and consolidation close business process. In this one, I will show you now predefined dimensions and what are the dimensions and forms and rules and valid instructions. What are the available in FCCS, and next one is managing feeds. In this, how to enable the managing feeds in FCCS, I show you. And next one is creating the custom navigation flow and testing. It is how to it is working. Again, go to application. It takes few minutes. In this time, I can explain the why are you using the FCCS. FCCS is a financial and consolidation close business process. It is out of box functionality, and it is take care of the variety. It is because of it is the EP cloud based version. In this FCCS, you can create the 4 custom dimensions. If you want, if you enable the multi-gap or intercompany data, so you can create the only two custom dimensions only. Hardly takes between two. The consolidation functionality is successfully enabled. Features you sign out and sign in again. Now I'll show you how to sign in and sign in. In the top of the application, under the EPM Cloud admin, sign out. If you want to end your section, okay, click on OK. And then you have provide the username and password. Click OK. This time I can go to the activity guide. In this practice 3-1, navigating the financial consolidation flows. In this practice, you can log in the FCCS application. Have done. Next slide. In this part 2, overview the navigation for FCCS application settings for a WoW record. What are the features are available under the overview? Now I'll show you what are the features and enable under the. Now go to the application and click on the application cluster under the overview. In this overview card, you can see the which name you provide the FCS application, and if you, which description if you provide the like financial and consolidation business process, and in this see the which rule or which approval you need to depending on ever, and which cubes which dimensions are comes with under the console, and how many dimensions are comes under the rates cube. In by default in consolidation we have available by 13 dimensions, and under the rates you have 8 dimensions. In the next tab is the cubes. In these types there are two types, one is the console cube and rate cube. And third tab is the dimension. In this dimension tab, you can see the what are the dimensions are available under the FCCS application, depending on the what feature enables. So earlier I have enabled the features for a multi-currency. So currency dimension is available under the dimensions. I can enable the intercompany data yes with tracking. So I can enable the intercompany. So intercompany dimension is available. So and then also enable the multi-gap for a manual edges. Means so multi-gap dimension is available under the application, and I have created the custom dimension for a product can earlier. So product dimension is created, and activity reports. In this overview card, you can see the in this dimension tab we can importing and exporting the metadata, and you can also importing the smart list and exchange rate of the data. Depending in this, you can select the which period or which dimension you can exporting the or importing the metadata. Select and then click on the import or export. So successfully importing the data or successfully exporting the meta. Depending on you are selecting the file location and file type. In this Wow card application, in this also performing the actions, importing data and exporting data and copying data. In this copying data, importing data and exporting data and copying data from one entity or one actual to scenario like that, depending on your business process, you can select comes under the Wow card and select the copying data and freeze data and validating metadata and refreshing data. In this refreshing data comes under the wow record, you can refresh the data changing the members or changing the members properties, or you can also run the business rules, or you can create the undefined rules. That time you can comes under the wow record, you can click on the refresh database and refresh the data. If you want, so if you want to remove the application for, if you want to create for new one, so comes under the wow record, you can click on the remove and click remove application. In this you can import an inbox or export means file can be saved which like inbox or outbox for a server. And again go to the activity guide. In this I can show you out in the application cluster for a dimension tab importing and importing data show you. In the click on the next one is the click on the navigator icon. Select the user preference under the tools. Explore the options in the following category. Now show you under the navigator for your user preference. Again go to the application. In this tools cluster under the navigator in the tools, the option called user preference. In the user preference, you have user can be comes under the user preference. You can select the which like a profile name or browsing, and you can change in the general section, and display the how to alias settings and approvals, so display alias or which member displayed for your user preference. And this in the display section and notification, user can be select the under the user preference for notifications and ADAC operation and user variables and reportings and reporting. In this reporting you have by default, so if your point of view is not came for reporting, so in the, under the user can be come with user preference, you can enable the point of view. So under the user preference, so you can enable the features. And again go to the activity guide. In the click on the navigator under the services under the application, review the status. Now show you how to the see the application status. Again go to the application. in the services under the application cluster. In this, you can see the email notifications and the process of supplementary data forms and the system maintenance. Which time in this time you can actions you can change the restart or runtime, or you can change the services for a system maintenance and the task status updates and testing for schedule monitoring. Depending on your convenient time, we can set the services. Again, go to the activity guide. Click on the home under the icon. You can return home page. Go to the home next page. In this party, in this practice, you will navigating the review and the predefined compose means comes with the prefix for FCCS underscore. Click on the navigator and select the dimension. Under the create and manager, select the account dimension and review and predefine the account balance. Show you the balance sheet members for account dimension, and then click on the home icon. Now I show you balance sheet members. Again, go to the application and click on the navigator. In the navigator, create and manager, click on the dimensions. By default comes with the account dimension. These are the dimensions available for a FCCS application. Now I select the account dimension, expand the balance sheet. Earlier I have selected the traditional balance sheet approach for, so that's the traditional balance sheet approach is available for under the balance sheet. If you select the net approach, so net approach hierarchies comes like this way. In this total asset is a separate member and total liability and total equity is separate parent members. This is the comes with the field depends members under the prefix for FCCS underscore. These are the seeded members. By default, system can be created. Again, go to activity guide. In this activity guide, you click on the home icon, then select the data. Under the balance sheet, select the FCCS balance sheet by form, then click close the form. Now I show you what are the predefined forms and by depending on the selecting the features. Now I show you. Again, go to the application. In the application, in the navigator or in the home page, you have option called a data card. Click on the data card. These are the by default system can be provided by predefined forms. Comes with the prefix. These are the by default system can be provided by data source and exchange rates for multi-period and comes with data forms. You can enter the data or you can view the data under the data card. By default, as per our IT guide, show me the selecting period single file. In this single period, you can select the data, you can enter and you can view the data. Comes this one. These are the by default system can be provided by the selecting the features for. If you select the without with only selecting for a balance sheet for a basic, so some of these features are these predefined forms are not available for a in a business process, FCC business process. Only available for a data source, exchange rates, multi-period and a single period. And again go to the application activity guide. In this I have show you the FCC periods. You click on the home, I show you, and then click on the close in the form. Click on the home icon and select the rules. Then show you the rules card under the rules under the home page. Again, go to the application. Under the home page, click on the home icon. This is the home icon. Under the option called the rules. These are the system can be provided by depending on the selecting the groups. In this, you can select the filtering for a each cube or each console cube or read cube. Depending on your business process, you can select or comes with the rules card and select them. Now, these are the business rules for a FCCS application. And if you want to run the consolidation, comes with the launch. In this, you can provide the entity and period and scenario here and click on the launch. This way, you can run the business rules for a FCCS application. Cancel. Click on the home icon. And now I can go to the activity guide. Show you business rules and click on the home icon and select the valid instructions on the application clusters. In this time I show you valid injection for a FCCS business process and again go to the application. In the application we have option called under the navigator, under the application, under the tools we have option called under the navigator. Under the valid instructions option under the application, these are the valid instructions for by default system can be provided. If you want, you can create the valid instruction. Click on the create. In this, you can provide the name of the valid instruction and selecting the which account, which dimension. If you are creating the valid instructions, click on save and click on cancel. This way, click on home icon. Again, go to the activity guide. This is a and part 4 is in this practice dash 3 dash 1. In this practice, we will learn how to manage the fields in FCCS business process application. Task, click on home icon, select the managing fields, and under the application cluster, you have option called card for a managing period. Verify the scenario and actual and selecting the year, and click on the actions and Jan. Click on the open, and now Jan this status is changed to open. Now I show you how to enable the managing feeds in the application. Again, go to the application. Under the application or navigating in this option, you have called a card called a managing period. In this manage, you have selecting which by default system can be only provide for a scenario dimension member for actual. If you want, you can create them for a members for a actual forecaster budget. By default, only one member comes under the scenario dimension and select actual. In the year, you can select the which year you can run the or you can post in the journals. You can select that particular year. Now I am only selecting the FY20. Click on OK. In this selecting the which period we can working or loading the data or posting the genres. So as per our activity guide, the Jan can be selected and this status is changed to open status. And now I can select the Jan. Click on the actions. In this option, you have a called a open or close status. Open or close. Now I can select the open. The status is changed to open status. Click on the status comes with open. Once you can open, it does not move to the changes the status for unposted date. Can only change the access for a closed status only in the access business process. And again go to activity guide. In these are conclusions for a practice dash 3 dash 1. Again go to the practice dash 3 dash 2, creating the navigation flow. In this now I have show you how to creating the navigation flow under the navigator flow. In this I have creating copy, and first one is the first navigation flow is the navigation flow under 01, and in this I have select remove the task dashboard and infolet and click on remove and then click on yes. Now assign the maximize bar. In this assign the service administrator for the role for particular navigation flow. Then click on save. Then the status is inactive state and move to the active state. Again now log out and log in the application. You will notice the taskbar and info and home page. Now I'll show you the how to create the navigation flow and how to remove the clusters and under the navigation flow, and again log into the application. You can find the changes and clusters of the members under the navigation flow. I'll show you how to create navigation flow. Again go to the application. In the navigator under the tools cluster, you have option called a navigation flow card. In the navigation flow, by default system can be created default. You can just copy the in the settings card, create and copy. In this as per our activity guide, name for providing for a custom underscore navigation under 01 01. Click on OK. The navigation flow is created successfully. In this before creating status is active state, inactive state. Now as per our activity guide, changing the removing the some of the clouds and clusters under the navigation flow. Now I have removed the clusters or cards for a task and dashboard and infolets. Now I'll show you how to remove that, and click on the remove option. Click and click on yes. The cluster is removed successfully. Now as per our activity guide, infolet also remove. Click on save. In this I can assign the roles for a particular user or group. This is a maximizer. You can select the group as per our target. In this navigation flow, I have assigned the service administrator role and click on OK. Click on Save and Close. So the by default navigation flow is created is inactive state. Just select the inactive state. Click on the status is changes to active state. Again go to log in and log out for application. The navigation flow is successfully added for our business process application. In the top of the called custom navigation one, by default comes with the navigation flow. If you want comes with default, you can comes with default. You can find the changes of the home page. Like before in the custom navigator, there is a no infolate and taskbar dashboard clusters are cards. Now I show you how to. I select the custom navigation one. So in this home page, there is no taskbar and dashboard and infolates. This is a difference between custom navigation one and default. And again go to activity guide. In this 15th one is repeat the steps 1 to 13. In this time you can give the name for navigation flow. His name is custom navigation 2. Remove the task and navigation flow. Assign the power user and log out and log in admin. You can now switch between the clicking navigation flow and then selecting the navigation flow. Select by default navigation flow is active and the custom navigation flow is the next one is inactive. Log out and log in again. I'll show you how to create the one more navigation flow in the application. And again in this time the set default navigation flow is inactive state, and you can see the difference between navigation custom navigation 1 and navigation 2. Now I show you how to create the navigations and how to changing the moving for one navigation flow to another navigation. Again go to the application. In this I have under the tools cluster have option called a navigation flow. This time I have selecting the creating the copy for by default. Create copy because our system can be provided for depending on features enable. So this time I can create the user navigation for name for custom underscore navigation 02. Click on OK. And in this time, as per our activity guide, you can change the remove the task card. Now I can remove the task card in the custom navigation flow. In this time, I can assign the user for a power user. Click on OK. Click on save and close. By default, this status is comes with the inactive state. Now you can change the status for active status. As per our active guide, the defaults comes with status is changed to deactive state. And again login and sign out and sign in the application. You can moving for navigation 1 to navigation 2. You can find the changes for navigation 1 and navigation 2. In the navigation tab of the custom navigation 1, now I have moved to the custom navigation 2. In this you can find the difference for a taskbar is card is not available under the home page. This way you can find the difference for a custom navigation 1 and navigation 2. And again go to the application activity guide. In this time I have show you these are the members navigation flow for creating and custom navigation flows and removing the sum of the cards and clusters. And this is a conclusion for a practice dash 3.2. And move to the fourth lesson, practice on lesson 4. In this time, setting up financial consolidation and close dimension. In this lesson, you have performed adding the members under the accounting and entity dimensions, and adding the members under the movement dimensions, and adding the currencies. In this practice, we will learn in this come to the adding the accounting and entity members. In this practice, you can add the members under the accounting and entity dimension. The first example, we have complete the task for a practice lesson 2 for creating the application. First, you have create the application, then only you can creating or adding the members for a in FCC business process. In the task, first one is first log into the application, then add the accounting dimension member, click on the navigator and click on the dimension under the create and manage and select the accounting dimension, expand the FCC underscore balance sheet and expand the FCC underscore total balance sheet and traditional balance and expand the total asset and select the expand current asset account. Click and add. Now I'll show you the how to moving the but that members and again go to the application. Click on the navigator. Click on the create and under the manage selecting the dimension. I can this time I can select the accounting. This time I can select the balance sheet, expanding the total, expanding the traditional balance sheet, expanding the total asset, expanding the current assets. In this, as per our activity, under the total current asset, you can add the members. Just click on the add child member. So in this time, as I can know, I can go to the activity guide. What are the name provided by the activity guide? This name for a investments account member and add the child member by selecting the click on adder. Now I'll show you how to create the child. Again go to the application. In this provide the name of the child for investments. Investments. Again click on save. If you want you can change the member properties also. If you do not assign the changing the member properties, by default system can be provided for a flow or each type of account type and variance reports on time, balance and exchange rates. By default comes with, it takes a few minutes. Again go to the activity guide. In this I have now show you, I have already show you creating the child member for investment. This time adding the child under the investments for a first parent, first member is child member is investment and underscore current. Alias name is investment underscore current and the data storage type is never sure and click on save. Again you can create the like this way you can create the another two members also for under the account names for a collective investment funds and corporate bonds for a this time changing the data storage by for a never share. Now show you how to add the members under the investments. Again go to the application. And this I can select the investments. Earlier I have creating the child for under the current asset. This time I can select the parent for investment. Select and click on the add children. This time I can provide the name for investments. Investments underscore. Investments underscore current. In this activity I can change the data storage type is never share. Click on save. This way you can creating the members for child members for investments. Click on the savings. In this time providing the name for a as per activity guide for a collective investment funds. Invest funds. Alias name is collective investment investments funds. In this time changing data storage by type to never share. Click on save. The memory is created successful under the investments. Again click on the selecting investment. Click on the add. This time you can provide the name for as per our activity guide. Corporative bonds. This time I am providing a name, alias name for a corporate bonds. This I can changing a data storage for a never share. Click on save. This way you can creating the members under the account dimension. And you can show again, go to the activity guide. This the hierarchy comes like is a S is a current asset is a parent member and investment is a child member. Invest current and collective funds and corporate bonds, these are the base members of the current asset. Now now check the hierarchy comes so like this way, or again go to the application. So this is the parent member, this is the child of the current asset, these are the base members of the current assets. Okay, again go to the application active guide. In this time select the entity dimension drop down and select the FCCS total geography, then click on add child, give the name for segment and alias name for segments, and base currency is USD, and click on save. Similarly add the child under the segment for EN0101 base currency. Under the GR1 entity add the two more child entries with the following details for EN0_04. Fine. Click on save. Hierarchy comes this way. Now show you how to create the members under the entity dimension. Again go to the application. Again this time I can select the entity, expand the total geography, select. I can create the members for a segment. You can providing a name for a segment. Alias name is a segment. The base currency is only available for a USD, by default comes with USD. Click on save. The child memory is created successfully for under the total geography. This time as per our activity guide, click on add the two more child under the segment. Select, click on the add the child. In this time I have provided the name for EN01 01. Selecting alias name is 0 EN0_01. Base currency USD. Click on save. The memory successfully created under the segment. Selecting the EN01, click on the add the two more child under the EN01 for a EN01_05. The name for a EN01_05. Alias name is EN1_05 for a France or whatever. In this time selecting the base currency USD. Click on save. Again one more, you can create the member for a EN01_06 under the EN01. Selecting EN01 is a parent member. Click on the child, providing the name for a EN01_06. Alias name for EN01 EN01_06 UK. This one selecting the base currency is the USD. Click on save. So again go to the activity guide. In this time see the hierarchy for entity file. Parent memory is the total geography and child memory is the segment, and the base memory is the EN0. These are the level 0 members for EN0105. Now show you this hierarchy comes with like way for creating the another entity dimension. I'll check it. So total geography is a parent member, segment is a child, and EN0 is a base member, and EN016 these are the leaf member. So it is okay. Again go to the activity guide. This is a conclusion for the practice dash 4-1 for adding the members under the accounting dimension and entity dimension. Move on to next 4-2. In this adding the members under the movement dimension. In this practice, we will add the movement members under the movement dimension. In this time, selecting the member for a FCCS_movement subtotal and a search box. Select the FCCS_movement subtotal and click on the child. This time you can providing the name for a what are the created member name, that is a movement underscore balance sheet, and alias name is changes in balance sheet, and hierarchy comes like we FCCS underscore movement and subtotal and movements balance sheet. Now I'll show you how to add the members under the movement dimension. Again, go to application, selecting the movement dimension, selecting the movement, closing balance, movement total, subtotal, and so I check in member is a HC underscore movement subtotal. This is a member. I can add the child member for a FCCS underscore movement balance sheet and check name. Movement name for a axis movement underscore balance sheet. Movements underscore balance sheet. This time I'm providing the alias name for a changes in cash. Changes in cash. Changing the name and product name and alias. Click on save. So hierarchy comes like way. FCC movement subtotal is a parent member and FCC movement underscore balance sheet is a child for a movement subtotal. Again, go to the activity guide. This hierarchy comes like way. This is a conclusion for your practice dash 4-2 for adding members to in the movement dimension. And go to the next topic for a practice 4-3 for adding the currencies. In this cell, in this time, I can select the currency dimension and select the input currency for a currency dimension. Click on the plus icon. In this time, select the euro and AUD and GBP and HR member, creating the input currency for another active dimension, currency dimension. Now I'll show you how to create the currency dimensions. Again, go to the application, selecting the currency dimension, selecting the input currency. Only USD is comes because of only I can select the main currency USD. So USD is only available. Select the input currency, click on the plus icon. In these are the standard the currencies. As per our activity, selecting the INR, Euro. So first one is 1 second. First one is a Euro. Euro select, click on save. The input currencies are created successfully under the create input currencies. Like this way, you can add the input currencies for a INR, GBP. INR. Once I check it, AUD. Click on save. So input currency is added successfully under the input currency. Again, select the input currency, selecting the GBP. Select on UK, select, click on save. This way you can add the input currency for INR. Click on save. So currency is successfully added under the input and currencies. Now this hierarchy like same as activity guide. Once I check it. So like EST euro, like this way. This is a conclusion for a practice dash 4-3 for adding currencies. I'll move to the practice for a lesson 5, importing and exporting the dimension numbers. In this, I show you how to creating the and modifying the metadata file and how to importing the metadata files for accounting and dimensions. The first one is modifying the metadata file .csv file. In this practice, we will be exporting the metadata file from an application and then modify the metadata and log into the EPM and adding admin log into the application and the home page. Click on the application, click on the overview, click on the dimension tab, and click on the export. Now show you how to exporting the metadata for a accounting an entity as per our activity guide. In this, selecting the location for a target and selecting the accounting and entity dimension. Now click on the file type is the comma delimited and click on the export. The file close the export file page. Now show you how to exporting the metadata for a accounting and entity. Again go to application. Click on the navigator. In the click on the application cluster under the overview card. Click on the dimensions. Click on the export. In this one, click on the create. As per our activity, I can selecting a file type. File location is local, so file is saved in our personal PC or local system. If you select the unbox, the file can be saved in a server. As per our activity, I can select the account and entity. The file type is a comma delimited. It comes with the .csv file and click on the export. The file is exported successfully our personal PC. Just expanding the click on open, click on close. This week, exporting the metadata for a dimension members. Again, go to the activity guide. This is the conclusion for a practice for a exporting the metadata with the .csv file and move to the practice for importing metadata .csv file. In this overview practice, you can metadata for .csv file and assumption we have complete the practice for 5-1 because of early if you exporting the file then only can change add the members for under the accounting dimension for a total account is a member and parent member is accounting. These are the properties of that members. In this freeze the top of the row and view the tab in the Excel. Now go to the last row of the file and enter the validator following the details for a new row for a total account and these are the members. Now show you. And the file type is saved for import file .csv and click on save for CSV and close the file and from the file saved don't save. Go to the your business process while selecting the dimension tab. Click on the import and click on the create and now I'll show you how to changing add the members under the metadata file for accounting and how to show you how to importing the metadata file for accounting. I'll show you with .csv file. And you can go to the application. Earlier I have exporting the metadata file for accounting and entity. Now once I can check, once I can refer and can add the members under the account dimension. In the dimensions, earlier I have exporting the metadata file for 10. You can click on open. You can select the account dimension number. This is a metadata file for account entity. As per our activity guide, first I can do the account dimension. Select the entity dimension. As per our activity, choose the first entity for a view in the Excel. View option. Option called a freeze panels. I can select the freeze per top row as per our activity guide. Add the one member for under the last row of the accounting entity. Earlier I have creating the one importing metadata file and show you. Earlier I have importing the creating the importing account data member for a just I can copy. Paste it. our activity guide. Okay, no problem. You can enter it. As per our activity guide, member name is the total underscore account. Total underscore account. Parent member is a account. And alias name is total account. Other properties for that, but validation per consolidation is false. This is a validation for a consolidation. False. I have earlier I have created a import for a metadata. Just only I can change the total underscore account. I can assign the parent for a account and alias name for a total accounts. And as per activity guide, I can assign the validation for consolidation is false, and the data storage type is store, and two pass calculation is false, and hierarchy type is a dynamic type. This is hierarchy type. Type is a dynamic. Account type is a revenue. I can assign the account type is a revenue. This one. Move on to right side. Next one is the time balance is a balance. You can assign the time balance for a balance. And skip value is a none. The property for a skip value is a none. Variance report is a non-expensive. Variance report is non-expensive. Source plan type is a console. Source plan type is console. Plan type is console true. Plan type console is a true. And aggregation of a consolation is a plus. Data storage type is a console is a never share. As per our activity guide, I can selecting the part that member per properties. Click on save. The file save can be saved as a .csv. Its name as a import.csv as per our activity guide. Click on save. The file is saved successfully, and move to the again go check for a activity guide. I can assign the under the accounting member for a and also assign the properties for this member. And the file name is saved for a import file.csv. And again we'll click on the import. Now I'll show you how to importing the metadata for accounting. File type is a comma delimited. The file can be saved with .clp. That's why I can select the comma delimited. Okay. Now I'll show you how to importing the metadata for accounting. Click on close. Go to the application. Under the application, click on the navigator. Under the overview, click on the dimension tab. Comes with this tab. In this tab, option called import. Click on the create. In this time, you can select the file. When me location is our personal system, so I can select the local. According choosing the file type for a .csv file import file. I have earlier created. The file type is a commonly limited because the file can be saved with .csv. As per our activity, I can select the comma delimited. Click on the validate. The file format is successfully valid. Click on the import. The import metadata is successfully. The importing metadata is successful or not. We can go to the jobs card under the home application cluster. Click on the job card. The import meta is successfully metadata added under the account dimension. Once check if the metadata file is successfully added or not in under the account dimension. There are two ways to view the account dimension members. One is go to the above record under the dimension tab, click on the dimensions. This is a simply editor for a viewing changing the members for account dimension. Will you have creating the member for a total underscore account. The parent member is account and the data storage type is store. Never share data storage. These are the by default so system can be provided. If you provide you that members that properties comes with. If you do not provide the any properties, so by default system can be provided by default properties. They never share or otherwise. This way. Again go to the activity guide. Again click on the file can be imported. The file can be imported. Next click on the import. Click on OK without refreshing. I show you. Click OK and close the dialog box. Click on the jobs card. Check it import file is successfully. I show you earlier. And move to the next slide. From the navigator, click on the dimension under the create and manage. Click on the total accounts. The memory is successfully. I show you. Now importing another accounting and entity dimension file available in our labs. Now I have created the entity import file for it .csv. Now I show you how to importing the entity members for a importing for a dimension member. After that importing, the file can be saved successfully in importing. Now show you in the application. I can this time I can importing the metadata for a entity. I can import, create. The file name is file location comes with my local PC, so that's why I can select the local. The file name comes with selecting the file for the names with the import entity. Earlier I have created. There is no access for a lab. The file name contains the .css, so that's why I can select the comma delimited. Click on the validated. The validate is successfully. Click on the imported. In this time I can select the refreshing database because of I can adding the members under the accounting and entity dimension. That's why I can select the refreshing data. Click on the import. Click on to OK. Import is successfully. Click on close. You can go to the jobs card. You can see the file is importing successfully or not. Validation is earlier. File is validation is successfully. Click on refresh. The import metadata file is it is going and processing. Again go to activity guide. This is a conclusion for a practice for a importing and exporting the metadata in and export changing the metadata in practice for a lesson 5. I show you the file is successfully updated or not. It take too much time because of I can enable the refresh in the database. Let's check importing metadata. So during the queue preference operation, LA0 one or more child has failed. So you can check the another dimensions in entity. You can see the members for successful or not. I have created the importing file for a entity is a LE0102. The memory is successfully. That's all. This is a conclusion for a practice. That's all, Ravali. Hello. Hello. Hello.